channel Beyond the Briefcase. So, I will be discussing with you the part 2 of the video. The part 1 covered section 5, which says that only transfers that are inter-vivos, that is between the living persons, are covered under the Transfer of Property Act. Section 13, which talked about the transfer towards benefit of an unborn person. And also, I discussed in part 1 with you the definition of an unborn person that could be divided into two parts. That is, who has been conceived and who has not been conceived. And in the case of who has been conceived, section 5 applied, and not being conceived, section 13 applied. And further, today in the part 2 of the video, I would discuss with you more about the details of section 13. So basically, in section 13, it is stated that a prior interest needs to be created whenever a transfer is being taken place in favor of an unborn person. So, what do you think why property cannot be transferred directly in favor of an unborn person? That is why there is a need of creation of a prior interest. This is now the first thing that I will discuss with you. And in this, so basically, every transfer of property involves basically what? Transfer of property involves transfer of interest. Every property's transfer would involve the transfer of interest that the actual owner had in the property and would like that they devolve on to further transferees. So, when a property is transferred, the transferor of that interest, and basically it is saying that when a property is transferred, that is transfer of property is occurring, in that case the transferor like this or takes out from himself of that interest. Basically, the interest that already vested in the transfer is now is taken out by him or he divides that interest into whom? The transferee, the one he intends to transfer that interest to. And if property is transferred directly to an unborn person, it is now in this case scenario when the transfer of property is taking place and the transferee is investing his interest towards a transferee, and if the transferee in question is an unborn person, how do you think that the transferor in such a case would be able to divest his interest to a person who is not yet come into existence? This is the reason the transferor firstly appoints a prior interest towards the main transfer or transfer that will take place in the favor of unborn person. So it is saying that interest now that was in favor towards the unborn person shall be divested from transferor. That is, it will be divested, it will be actually divested from the transferor, but it would have to remain in abeyance. This is a very important term. Abeyance. Abeyance, it means it has to be in void. Okay. The transferee actually comes into existence. That is, the transferor first will transfer his interest towards a person who will have it as a prior interest, and the prior interest person will now give the interest or divest his interest towards the favor of the unborn person. And such a situation would be the whole concept of section 13, but it was only the explanation why a direct interest could not be made in the favor of an unborn person. The main basic reason remains here that he is not in instant cannot be made directly towards an unborn person, but transfer can be made for the benefit of an unborn person. Transfer can never be made directly towards an unborn person, but it could be made for the benefit of an unborn person. This line that I stated is subject to certain conditions. These conditions are transfer for unborn person must be preceded by a prior interest, and for your knowledge, a prior interest is also known as a life interest in favor of a person in existence at the rate of transfer. As I have already discussed, why the transfer could not be directly made towards an unborn person is because the main reason is that he is not in existence. That is why it is important that the transfer basically creates a prior interest. Prior interest to a person who is in existence at the time of date of the transfer. The second condition is basically only absolute interest can be transferred in the favor of an unborn person. No remaining interest, no left out interest, etc. No option of anything, only the basic thing, that only the complete or the absolute interest has to be transferred in the favor of an unborn person. This is stated in the section 13 at the last lines of the sections. So now the question that would have come into your mind is, what is the prior life interest? Prior life interest. So, when a person intends to transfer certain properties for the benefit of an unborn person, such an unborn is the ultimate beneficiary. This is something that is very clear, and the transfer is transferring a property to the prior interest person, that is the main mediatory between the transfer and the ultimate beneficiary. Who is the ultimate beneficiary? It is, of course, the unborn person. So, the main reason that prior life interest is created is that the unborn person is not in existence, and right now we will not make a direct transfer towards him. We have to make a prior life interest in the favor of a person who is at the presence during the date of or at the date of transfer. So there must be a prior life interest in favor of a living person, so that such living person holds the property during his life until the time the unborn person would come into existence. So what is happening that a transfer, what he is doing that he wants to transfer the property in favor of unborn person. But this unborn person is yet not has not yet come into existence. That is why he firstly transfers the property to B, who has a prior life interest. That is, until unborn person comes into existence, he will hold the property, he will protect the property, and only for the benefit of unborn person. Okay. Further on, after the termination of this life interest, that is after the death of the living person holding property for life. That is, it is like a saying that what happens in the scenario where D dies is the interest would pass on ultimately to the unborn, who at that time comes into existence. This is what I already stated, that it is basically creating a prior life interest till the time the unborn person comes into existence. And as soon as unborn person comes into existence, after that time the interest would ultimately go to rest in the favor or benefit of the unborn person. Between the transferor and the unborn person, there must be an intermediary living person. So B is basically a intermediary living person. He is a living person. He is alive during the time A is making a transfer for the benefit of someone who is not yet born. And what is basically doing is that he is holding the property in trust for unborn person. Then moving on, I will explain the whole scenario through an illustration. So the illustration is that there is a party A and he transfers his house. What he is transferring? He is transferring his house to X for life. That is creating a prior life interest basically, and X is a living person during the time of transfer, and thereafter to the unborn person, that would be the ultimate beneficiary. So what is happening is a prior interest is created in whom? X. For the benefit of whom? For the benefit of unborn person who may be the son of A. And so basically in this condition, transfer of house in favor of this ultimate beneficiary, that is the unborn person, the son of A who is yet to be born, would be valid as per section 13, as there is a prior life interest created. Supposedly in a situation where there was no prior life interest, the action would be void, as section 13 has made it mandatory for the benefit of any unborn person. If a transfer is made, it must be preceded by a prior life interest that should have been created. This was it. I hope you liked it. For any questions, you can comment and I will reply back to you. Thank you for watching the video. Please keep supporting us.
This was the part 2 of the video. I've already posted the part 1. There will also be a part 3. Please watch it as well for complete understanding.